I wonder how many people I'm going to have tonight. Interesting. I'll have to wait and see. Kind of warm today. Although not that warm here. 90. Oh, wait. Show's starting.
You're listening to Late Night Radio on the SHR Media Network. Caution, there will be mature themes explored and potentially adult language used. If conservatarian words, phrases, certain concepts, or rhetoric offends you, tune out now.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it on to our children in the bloodstream. The only way they can inherit the freedom we have known is if we fight for it, protect it, defend it, and then hand it to them with the well-taught lessons of how they in their lifetime must do the same. And if you and I don't do this, then you and I may well spend our sunset years telling our children and our children's children what it once was like in America when men were free.
I'm pushing them back from the saloon to the airwaves. I'm spitting it raw. Constitution's my compass, liberty's law. Big guns creeping, shadows on the land. Feds with the schemes trying to bind up my hands. But I'm the Sherpa, guiding through the storm. Red, white, and blue, yeah, freedom's reborn. They spin their tails, but I see through the haze. Media maggots, lost in the maze. I'm calling it out, no fear in my soul. This patriot's fire ain't losing control. Conservative Sherpa leading the fight. Torch in the dark, burning bright in the night. Stand for the truth, won't bow to the game. Sherpa's come and remember my name. Sherpa's rising. Freedom's calling. Let this judge is twisted, trying to steal our rights, but I'm locked and loaded, got them in my sights. From J6 to the border, they're selling us out. I'm screaming from the mountain, hear my rebel shout. They mock the flag, but I'm holding it high. Stars and stripes forever under God's open sky. No globalist chains gonna cage this land. I'm the Sherpa with the truth in my hand. They push their agenda, but I'm breaking the mold. Their promises empty, their hearts ice cold. Chicago's bleeding, borders torn apart. I'm fighting for the people with the warrior's heart. Conservative Sherpa leading the fight. Torch in the dark, burning bright in the night. Stand for the truth, won't bow to the game. Sherpa's come and remember my name. Sherpa's rising. I've walked the line, 41 years, badge on the grind, now I'm on the air. My voice like a blade, cutting through the lies that the traitors made. Hurricanes rage, but we're standing tall. Sheriffs of the Constitution answering the call. From the saloon to the heart of the fray, we're taking back America, no more delay. Conservative Sherpa leading the fight. Torch in the dark, burning bright in the night. Stand for the truth, won't bow to the game. Sherpa's come and remember my name. Sherpa's rising. Hear my voice resound. Conservative Sherpa, freedom's battleground. Berserk, Bobcat, rules will never kneel. For God and country, this fight is real.
So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to BZ's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show, where I am broadcasting from North Idaho in an actual free state. So welcome to everyone. Welcome to you and you and you. I see you hiding behind the sofa, trying to get the pennies from underneath the couch so that you can pay the federal government, because otherwise they'll be kicking in your door shortly for that. Who am I? Where am I? What am I? Well, let's tell you what I am right here. I happen to be this guy, your conservative Sherpa, just like it says down below. I am guiding you through the insidious maelstrom of Democrat, leftist, and globalist lies, chaos, deceit, tyranny, and betrayal. Not necessarily in that order. Patent pending, no leak to basement, Marcus Registratus. And thanks for being here tonight. I hope you guys always see my customary warning right here to let everyone know that for the viewers, this program is rated CX. And if you're not old enough, it requires an accompanying parent, an adult guardian, or more importantly, a bobcat with tufted ears. Because that's the only kind that they have. That's the only ones. Let's see. Let's see who's in the chat. Let's examine the chat. Phantom says, hey, 608 subbies right now. That is exactly true. So thanks to everybody for subscribing to the show. And I mentioned I saw some people earlier, and I think I did. Wait a minute. You there. I see you. Get down and give me 700. Get down and give me 650 subscribers right now. Oh yeah. Yeah. Do it now. Hey. That's what we need. We need another 650 subscribers. Hell, another 650 subscribers. I'd be happy with just enough subscribers to get up to 650. Hey, by the way, always, I want to make sure that you guys know that you are always welcome here in BZ's Berserk Bobcat Saloon, sumptuous, palatial, and resplendent chat room, which, by the way, I should care to point out, you can only find on the SHR Media YouTube channel. Now, there occasionally are some people. I'm looking over here to my right, and a lot of people, thousands of people have said, BZ, I don't understand why you don't just look at the camera right there. There's the camera. I'm looking at it, and I always catch you looking up. What are you looking at when you're looking up, or you're looking over there, or you're looking over there? Well, I have a big 49-inch Samsung screen right in front of me. And then over here on a little laptop, I have, what is this? A Microsoft Surface laptop. I monitor the show over there to make sure that it's actually running, because I've been caught surprised any number of times when people in the chat are going, hey, you dumb bastard, the show's not going. What's wrong with you? So my eyes have to be all over the place. If for no other reason, heavy sigh, that myself and this guy, my semi-former producer, Merlin Queffel, we've had issues and problems with him. He may or may not be coming back. He violated his contract, which is really sad in way, let me be honest. A lot of people have not said, I love Merlin Queffel. He's doing such a great job for your show. Said no one on the show at all. Sean says he was, welcome to Sean. Thanks for being here. Welcome to Comic Artist for being here. Let's see. Welcome to Phantom for being here. Mission Ready Men is here. I mentioned Sean Lewis, who doesn't deserve mentioning twice. Mike Pasqua is here. And that shit's not funny, okay? You heard Merlin had an issue with Smack. I am not at liberty to say about that right now. Well, let's see. It's already 9 minutes into the show, and I don't have all that much time to get into the reading of, who we are, where am I, who am I, and all that kind of stuff. I do have some interesting stuff to show you. One of the first things that I want to illustrate, let me see if I can go over here. This I like. I've put this up before. This is, I think, from Mrs. Earl who created this for SHR Media following the Cracker Barrel disaster. And you can see lined up in a row from apparently fattest to least fat is BZ's on the far left, and Jersey Joe is in the flag swag, and Sean is in the red shirt, and Earl, who is the most normal of us all, is over on the right next to the American flag. When I saw that, I thought that was great. One thing that I need to kind of warn people about, this happens before, and I have two dogs who customarily come into the show, and there are two, well, one of them, the one on the right is Jake. He's kind of on his last legs on this planet. So we're trying to make sure that we're as kind to him as we possibly can. He always likes to come in and sleep during the show. Well, he sleeps everywhere because that's primarily what he does now. And then the one over on the left is Ava. She's probably not quite 2 years old. She's one of the two newest kids after Angus passed away on Father's Day last year. So I'm just putting this up to let you know that if some point during the show I get up, I will make an announcement. Okay, the dogs are at the door. The dogs are clawing at the door. One of them has a thing with peeing in the house. So that means I have to open the door to let the dog out because that's very important. So I may be interrupted during the show. Just an important thing for me to you. By the way, also, this shirt, I'm wearing a Galactus shirt. This is a great shirt. Now, let's see if I can pull it out so you can see his hands, which are sizzling with cosmic power. Like the cosmic bard, he who wields the power cosmic. So I'm like Galactus tonight, wielding my multiple Thanos type rings, which they don't have anything to do with Thanos at all. But I have the shirt. I got this in finally. And so now that you can see the Galactus face, I wanted to make sure you guys see that. Then I can put the Mark 1 Model 1 cross over there where it normally and customarily goes. The other thing that I was just made aware of, hey, 6 comments. Damn, I'm 6 comments behind. He melted the cup. I see. Merlin had an issue with our favorite SHR member. Huh. Very nice. Now, wait a minute. I mean, the fat scale is right, but how does Mission Ready Men Briefing keep getting called the normal one? Because essentially he's the least fat of us all, something like that. Anyway, welcome to everybody. And of course, Mike Pasqua. I think I mentioned comic artist, didn't I? I believe so. Cosmic Bard. I think Cosmic Bard was in here. Comic artist is here. I'm looking for Cosmic Bard. Maybe I pre-announced and presupposed that Cosmic Bard is here, and I haven't seen him, so I just promoted him, and it was unnecessary. I unnecessarily promoted Cosmic Bard, and I take back everything I say about him. God, that's not very nice, BC. Hey, another thing that just came out. We're going to go into news. Let's see. What do I got tonight? I have the Carousel of Amazing Gerp. I have the Chicago Death Toll. I have the Stand By for News segment. I have leftists being dangerously insane. Hey, would California fit under that? I bet it sure would. I have weapons grade stupid, and I have tales of the racist, sexist industrial complex just for you tonight. So those are the segments that are coming up. And I also wanted to point this out. I hadn't seen this until recently, within about an hour ago. I would consider this to be great news. Now, this is a chart of Donald Trump said that he wanted to relax and not tax tips on waiters, waitresses, servers, etc. Well, here is apparently the new list of people that will not be taxed. And let's start at the top. Musicians and singers. Okay, cool. Disc jockeys accept radio, play pre-recorded music for live audiences or venues like clubs, that kind of stuff. Entertainers and performers who entertain audiences with artistic expression. Look at this here in the blue. I find this very interesting. Digital content creators. Those who produce and publish on digital platforms original entertainment or personally driven content like live streams, short form videos or podcasts. If they are tipped, they do not have to announce that to the federal government. Ushers, lobby attendants, ticket takers, and locker room, coat room, and dressing room attendants, no tips mandated on them as well. No taxes on their tips. But I find that uniquely interesting in terms of digital content creators. They're not going to have to pay taxes on any tips that they acquire. So, for example, on some of the shows, you'll see the little square for, copy this, shoot it in, and you can drop an amount of money on the show, on the content creator themselves. So no taxes on that, which I find great. And that includes streamer, online video creators, social media influencers, podcasters. Hey, I'm going to take that for what it is. That sucker is a win. Let's catch up for, wait a minute. Where is it? It's like when I see people like this who say, I'm not crazy, but BZ and Big E are normal. The first thing I think of is that person about to push me down the stairs? The content, the temper of the times, I have to ask. The Phantom, I see we are fighting now. Oh, wow. Okay. Look at this. Now, Sean just mentioned, if anybody wants to give a tip here, you can just hit the little $sign on it. I don't see a $sign, but that's just on my end. On the cot. Oh, I mean chat. Wait a minute. I thought that was Sean doing Bastin. Okay, he means in the chat. So it's going to look like this. $10. He contributed $10 to himself. Excellent, mister. That's great. But apparently, if you do that, it looks like that in the chat, which I think is absolutely wonderful and glorious. That's okay. With luck, we'll see that on lots of other shows except mine, because honestly, I don't need your money. I'm doing okay. But for those who put up the little, let's see, God, what are those called? The little square things where you can touch them and or shoot them with your phone. Not shoot them as not that kind of shooting, but you can donate. So to the people that have those on there, like I know KLRN people have that. Some of the SHR people have it. Some of the SHR people don't. If you see it up there, then, please contribute to those persons, but don't waste your money on the fat guy here. Phantom says, yes, you are. Okay. QR code. That's it. Thank you, Sean, for, okay. I blame Ever. I always blame Ever. That's what you do. Anyway, let's start out with this. Because like I said, we're going to start out with this little section right here. The Carousel of Amusing Gerp. Now, I don't have music for the Carousel of Amusing Gerp, but I do have, in fact, the Amusing Gerp.
I swiped the EBT, it said decline. I swiped the EBT, it said decline. Girl, I ain't paying no cash, hell no.
You ever been in a situation like this with a bonnet-wearing LaFonda? You're not racist, you're just exhausted. That's when my doctor prescribed me Civilize. Not to make it better, just so I can keep my mouth shut and walk away.
With Civilize, you don't hear the ignorance. You don't feel the heat. You just move forward. Thanks to Civilize, I don't even hear it anymore.
Okay, let me stop this right now. And for no other reason than I almost went there today. I figured the ad here was good enough. It was illustrative. It was sufficiently illustrative. But on X in particular, some of the other forms of social media, I see video after video after video of thugs fighting. And I just, I'm so fucking done with that shit. I can laugh at it here, and we're going to maybe not necessarily laugh at it, but we're going to point it out here very shortly in my next segment. But, America is predominantly so done with this bullshit. And so, Sean embarrassed me into bringing this back because I thought, people don't want to hear this anymore. I think that's wrong now. So I'm bringing this back. Sean embarrassed me into this, and Earl embarrassed me into this. And so it's definitely got to come back. It must.
The bloviating Zeppelins, HeyJackass.com Chicago death toll update. Courtesy of every leftist running that city. From the mayor, police chief, and every alder crap in the 50 wards.
Because things have changed. And they certainly changed over the Labor Day weekend. This is HeyJackass.com, HeyJackass.com, illustrating Chicago values from Chicago, the city of big shoulders, that says, hey, we don't need any National Guard in here. Crime is normal. Don't be telling us what we can crime or crim or do or not. Final August totals versus 2024. Shot and killed 39. Minus 26%. Shot and wounded 208. Minus 20%. Total shot 247. Total homicides 43. Week in progress. August 31st through September 6th. Shot and killed 5, shot and wounded 30, total shot 35, total homicides 5. Year to date, shot and killed 245, shot and wounded 1,121. Total shot 1,366, total homicides 293. Now, this has also gone down since the last time that I played this. That means that in Chicago, a person is shot every 4 minutes and 17 seconds, and a person is murdered in Chicago every 19 minutes and 59 seconds.
The bloviating Zeppelins, HeyJackass.com Chicago death toll update. Courtesy of every leftist running that city. From the mayor, police chief, and every alder crap in the 50 wards.
But on the heels of that, we have a couple of interesting stories that have since issued forth. This one is from the New York Post. I mentioned the past weekend. Chicago's Labor Day weekend bloodbath sees 8 killed, 58 shot. But Mayor Brandon Johnson in Chicago says no federal troops will be allowed into the city in order to stop the violence, because apparently you have a lawful right to kill people, or what else is it that you can possibly conclude about that? Not much else that I can see. Here I find something, you are not going to be bringing National Guard into Chicago except the citizens.
My first reaction was that this is a good thing. I think that the governor as well as the mayor should be on board with it, just so we can get a bit more of security in Chicago the way that we need.
The crime has dropped since 2024. Do you feel like the city feels safer?
No, not at all. No, especially with the police being defunded.
Okay, so that's CNN interviewing an actual resident of Chicago, not somebody, kind of like, I guess, making shit up, so to speak. Let's talk about this now, because
I believe that this nation should commit itself to achieving the goal.
There's some interesting stories that have just come up, and I can't quantify and put all of these into happy stories per se, because they kind of bounce back and forth a little bit. So there is no specific segment tonight just for happy stories. But what I'm going to be illustrating during the news here is that there are positive things coming out, there are negative things coming out, and they all revolve around essentially the same individual. Like,
I will build a great wall. Stand by for news.
And here's some news. Investigation discovers that migrants are using hidden cameras to cheat on truck license tests. Myself and another leftist, probably a week ago or less than a week ago, had a bit of a tete-a-tete between ourselves saying that, oh, illegal invaders are just as fine as anybody else and they need jobs, and there are fewer jobs than there are people waiting to take the jobs, and we need truckers. And so we need illegals too, because they see and they understand and they're good people and they're honest people. And no, they're not. A lot of that is bullshit, as indicated from this particular story. Florida police discovered how migrants who cannot speak English have been getting licenses to drive 18-wheelers on the nation's highway, because there's nothing like saying, you know, why don't we put somebody who doesn't understand shit in charge of 80,000 pounds of rubber and metal careening down the highway? That sounds like a wonderful idea. So the accidents that occurred, I think it was California driver, illegal invader that occurred in Florida, killed 3 people because he was a non-English speaking illegal invader behind the wheel of Florida truck. So how are they getting their licenses? Well, it turns out that an investigation revealed the applicants use the cameras, various cameras, to scan tests so that the person can read the questions. Then they tell the applicant how to answer the question over an earpiece that is pre-inserted. That way, the illegal invaders can pass the test without having read a single question or understood a single answer. Like I say, that's what you want on the highways, isn't it? Of course. Let's catch up with comments, as a matter of fact. So let's go to comments. The Ever is certainly the problem. I am going to have to clear something right here and there. Now I can go to the next story. And mission ready. Son Johnson. Okay, don't know who that is. Mission ready men. They hated having to go out on the air. In the industry, Sean Lewis, who is a trucker, a wonderful guy just came in chat. He's another leftist fuck nozzle who doesn't know a thing that he's talking about, and I wouldn't give him the time of putting his little thing up. You go create your own show, fuck nut. In the industry, we were saying that it was a cheating issue for a long time, and that's very true. That's very obvious. Yeah, see, some people don't like truth getting through to the sides of their heads, and some people just need whacking upside the head, like a whack-a-mole. Here's another story. Trump blocks $4.9 billion in foreign aid that Congress okayed using a maneuver last seen 50 years ago. Now, that is a happy story, and let's acknowledge it as same. Then there's this. Federal judge rules Trump violated, let me go up, military law by activating the National Guard in California. Now, some people would consider this to be a happy story for the left, but the truth is that this is a post-situation ruling. In other words, he's already there. He already went to California. He already brought the National Guard. And so this is an old and stale ruling that really doesn't mean much of anything. And like Sean pointed out just now, that's not going to stand, and we all know it. Well, you lose a couple and then you win a couple as well. Here's another one. This just came out, and this is wonderful. This does in fact become a happy story. And I got 2 more minutes, so I can definitely tell you about this one. This just came out today. Trump orders U.S. military strike on a drug boat, killing 11 Trinidad terrorists in a warning to traffickers. To that, I immediately reply, excellent, excellent. That's great news. Killing drug dealers, because that's what needs to be done. They need to be killed. Tell you what, let me start this just a little bit early. I'm not going to be pushing anybody downstairs or anything like that until people push me downstairs. So anyway, let's take a break, shall we?
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Mission log entry. I mean, let's face it, who's even counting anymore? The Lost Wanderer is officially off course, chasing rogue rocket launches, fringe science, and things that probably violate causality. If it burns fuel, bends time, or makes scientists very uncomfortable, yeah, I'm probably going to talk about it. Every other Sunday on KLRN Radio, The Lost Wanderer, because space doesn't come with a roadmap, and honestly, I wouldn't follow if it did.
Hello, I'm Matt, a student at Hillsdale College. Here is Hillsdale President Larry Arnn on the continuing relevance of the Constitution.
Many argue today that the Constitution is outdated because it addresses problems peculiar to the 18th century. Some parts of the Constitution do read rather quaintly. Consider the injunction against titles of nobility in Article 1, Section 9 of the Constitution. But is that so outdated? The purpose of the injunction is to prevent the government granting special privileges to some for partisan reasons. This strikes at the heart of the rule of law. The crony capitalism so common today is a place where the government bestows favors and tax dollars on some businesses to give them a leg up over others. This is exactly the kind of thing the Constitution was meant to prohibit. The Constitution is not so outdated after all.
This Constitution Minute was brought to you by Hillsdale College. To join the national conversation on the Constitution, go to constitutionminute.com.
Hey fellas, are you mission ready? You need to check out Mission Ready Men via Earl Big E Jackson on Tuesdays and Thursdays, 9 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Central, and noon Eastern. It's a show that equips you to navigate our society's challenges from a biblical perspective with courage and conviction. Tune into Mission Ready Men as we examine our culture through the prism of biblical truths, teachings, and how to apply them in our daily lives. Prepare to step up, stand out, and step into your role as a man as ordained by God. That's Mission Ready Men, hosted by Earl Jackson on the SHR Media Network. And get mission ready.
Want to make an immediate difference in the life of a critically ill child? You have the ability to do that right now. Make a donation to Dream Makers for Life, the organization that restores dreams to seriously ill children and their families. You can sponsor a dream pack for a child, which contains a clear PVC backpack, a dry erase board adventure coloring book, a journal, and dry erase markers to inspire a critically ill child to envision a future adventure and hope. Want to become a dream maker for life yourself? Go to dreamforlife.org. That's dreamforlife.org. Help a child. Help a family. There is always hope.
You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
And I'm back. I'm BZ. Thanks for being here tonight. I'm in the saloon. You're in the saloon. Remember, every night, like tonight, and also tomorrow night, and for Thursday night, every night that you happen to walk into the saloon, remember the sign that hangs above the door, and that is this: free beer tomorrow. And that is done by the goodness and the gracious of me and my heart. This happens to be where you are and who I am.
Featuring bobosity, unrestrained, and a carnival of conservative cogitations. BZ, your conservative Sherpa, continues on the SHR Media Network.
And here's another story. Appeals court overturns the Chutkan ruling, halts $20 billion given in climate grants. Excellent. Fist bump. This is fist bump from me to you right there. That's an excellent, excellent ruling. And so, you know, you have some, you win some, you lose some. Here's another one. And this is Brett Baer speaking to Lee Zeldin.
Over $29 billion of grants have canceled.
29 billion of grants.
Our operating budget annually is about $10 billion. We've canceled over $29 billion. $27 billion of it was the Greenhouse Gas Reduction Fund, part of the Inflation Reduction Act when President Biden had one-party control of Congress. And it was filled with self-dealing and conflicts of interest, unqualified recipients, reduced agency oversight, money going through pass-throughs, the dollar getting diluted. And if the argument is going to be made that a dollar should get spent to remediate an environmental issue, then spend it on remediating an environmental issue. Instead, they're giving it to their friends, former Biden and Obama officials and Democratic donors. President Trump talks about Stacey Abrams as one linked NGO to her that received $2 billion.
Is that true?
Yes, in 2023.
And it was going out the door.
Yes, in 2023, that NGO received $100. In 2024, they got $2 billion from the Biden EPA. They had to complete training in their grant agreement, page 7, that says they have 90 days to complete training called How to Develop a Budget. Yet, in the first 21 days, they can start spending the money, billions of dollars. Now, you could ask all sorts of great questions about where the money goes once it goes through pass-throughs. And deliberately, by design, I won't have answers to basic questions.
So this pass-throughs, I mean, you have to be almost an investigator to see the bank shots of where this money goes, right? I mean, that's part of what you're trying to find out.
That's part and parcel of why they do it in the first place, because it was easy, then they would be discovered. And that's left us like the same shit stick that was in here earlier. That's what they love. All the corruption, all the greed, all the time, all the money, all the wastage, all the taxes. Give me more, and more. And then there's this. You know, what do you do with things like this? Federal judge releases woman accused of threatening to kill Trump. And look who it is once again. Our lovely guy, Judge James Boasberg, who loves him some Trump, wants to make sure that there is no penalty. She can go out, wander about, be free, young quail, be free. And there are no consequences for that. And also this, and it's back and forth, you see, as I have indicated. Here's another one. This story states, this is from Breitbart, University of Michigan Hospital halts sex change drugs for minors amid pressure from the Trump administration. So that's a win. You got to put that in the win category as well. The University of Michigan announced this week its hospital will no longer offer sex change drugs to minors amid pressure from the Trump administration. And I'm going to go over some of those situations again. And I'm going to play the video that I don't believe anybody yet that I'm aware of has played the complete video from the tranny unit that slaughtered children and shot through a glass window into a church. And then subsequently, thank God, killed itself because some people are put on this planet to simply eliminate themselves, and luckily that unit took itself out. So that was certainly part and parcel of a happy story with regard to that. And then, of course, where would we be if the American media maggots themselves weren't shooting themselves in the foot and then in the head again? This is where we'd be. So CBS and CBS News are again going out of their way to prove that they are fake news. And, that's why I've labeled you guys the American media maggots for over a decade. And wait, Lassie, girl, what's that smell? What am I smelling? Oh, that's right. Another lawsuit brewing.
And the one thing that we will continue to do is to make sure that he doesn't walk free in the United States of America. This individual was a known human smuggler, MS.
Now, the part on the left, this is a massive distinction that I pointed out on Earl Jackson's show this morning on Mission Ready Men. When Noam went into the interview with CBS, Noam and every conservative and everyone on this administration must do the same thing. She brought her own camera and camera crew so that they were able to record the full interview, and so that this doesn't happen, so that they have the complete take. And so when it's edited for time, which means that it's edited for slander, that here's on the left, the full information that wasn't aired. Was edited for time because we're incompetent and biased and agendized. And I smell another suit coming. CBS, you clearly haven't learned your lessons yet, have you?
13 gang member, an individual who was a wife beater, and someone who was so perverted that he solicited nude photos from minors and even his fellow.
Nude photos from minors. We can't have that getting out on our air, on CBS air, can we?
Human traffickers told him to knock it off. He was so sick in what he was doing and how he was treating small children. So he needs to never be in the United States of America, and our administration is making sure we're doing all that we can to bring him. And the one thing that we will
and so on the right, this is what you heard on CBS.
Continue to do is to make sure that he doesn't walk free in the United States of America. This individual was a known human smuggler, MS.
That's what you didn't hear. That's the American media maggots. American media maggoting, I guess you could say. And also on this, the leftists are chest beating. They are encountering the fantods. They're swooning. They're aiming for their fainting couches because of the CDC. Oh, Trump fired the CDC chief. You know, the guy that looks like a pedophile, the guy that likes to wear dog collars, that guy.
But back to the question, I had for my entire career been an advocate for the LGBTQ community through my work in HIV, through my work in MPOX. I find it outrageous.
Where's your dog collar, dude?
That this administration is trying to erase transgender people. I very specifically used the term pregnant people and very specifically added my pronoun.
Pregnant people. Now, is someone who was brain damaged like this guy, should he be sitting on any kind of board making decisions about normal people? And the answer is, of course not. Pregnant persons. Oh, you mean women, because only women can give birth. Now, you've got damaged mutants like this in positions of power, and that's the primary reason that Donald Trump gets rid of them. These are mentally deficient people, leftists. The bulk of leftists are mentally deficient and cannot even determine or suss out the difference between a guy with dicks and balls that's going to get prostate cancer if they live long enough, and people that have a cleft. You know, oh, look, here's my camel toe. Said no tranny at all.
At the end of my resignation letter to make the point that I am defying this terrible strategy at trying to erase people and not allowing them to express their identities. So I accept the note from the press secretary and counter that with, I don't care.
Excellent. I don't care either. Get the fuck out. That is a happy story. But again, shit goes back and forth, doesn't it? Here's another story. CDC's COVID fascists and liars are blasting RFK Jr. in the New York Times. And remember, if you will, please, that these are the same individuales who decided that they were going to sup at some of the finest dining establishments while making sure that you were completely oppressed, and that people that were surfing in the ocean during Wuhan 19 were arrested for surfing in the ocean. And Fauci saying the highest paid federal government employee ever in the history of the federal government, who is still supping at the federal trough in retirement, saying, years ago, but you don't want to hear about it now. Masks don't work. And then some weasel came up with social distancing. And they leftists admit, well, we don't know where that came from. And then, of course, remember about all the little COVIDs that were bursting about your head and face. When it was okay in a restaurant for you to sit down, the COVIDs wouldn't attack you. But the second you stood up, you had to have a mask. Okay, so excuse me just for a moment while I get up, because someone wants to go outside the door. Be right back. See, I told you this was going to happen, and it has. So little man wants to go outside. Okay, come on. Here we go. Come on. Get it. Go outside. Come on. Jake, come on. You have to go outside the door. Come here, Jake. Jake. Come here. Outside. There you go. Good boy. Well, sometimes you have to be very careful with Jake because he will be passing away in the not too terribly distant future. He has seizures. He's blind. He can't hear. He has no tail. And he's dying of a tumor in his kidney. Other than that, he's a fabulous dog. He's a great dog. Sadly, he just won't be around in the not too terribly distant future. But, you know, these people are insane that I just indicated right there. And of course, somebody's barking outside you, which you may or may not be able to hear. Then another story. I am not going to quantify this in terms of a happy story or a bad story. And comic artist says, I'm colorblind, so it looks pink to me. Yeah, I get it, because the dealio is I'm colorblind too. Although I do know my stop signals and I do know my stop signs. Thank God, from many, many years ago, which is so weird because I got through as a cop being colorblind. I'll talk to you about that story sometime. Is there another lawsuit in the well, Lassie? Yes, I certainly believe so. I love it when they have to rattle off the resume, all they did for a special interest group to show validity. And Mission Ready Man says, yep, that dude is a freak. Sure. Birthing person. Yeah, you're a fucking moron. Freak isn't a strong enough word for it. No, that's true. It's not really, it isn't a sufficiently strong word for that. Willfully blind and the follower of lies. And that's accurate as hell. COVID attacked between 3 and 7 feet in altitude. It's the science. Remember, you had to follow the science, and the medicine. Of course, which was all bullshit because administrations picked and chose who would succeed and who would fail. And the failures included religion. You couldn't go to church. You couldn't attend certain things. You couldn't go to certain places. It was all capricious. It was on a whim. And if it had to benefit leftists, then that's what happened. Not to preach, but the good book told us the ignorant and the arrogant will rise. And we're seeing that right now. In this story, Islamic Republican close is Republican. God, I got that on my brain housing group. Close to collapse in Iran. Civil war possible after the U.S. and Israeli decimation of nuclear capabilities. Now, this is not an old story. This is a fairly new story. Today is September the 2nd, the year of our Lord, 2025. This story that I'm looking at right here was just a few days ago, August 30th. But the big question out of all of this, and this is not the time or place to discuss this, but it's something to consider in terms of, okay, the Iran leadership goes away, nature abhors a vacuum, and who or what will replace it? Parenthesis, okay, will the actual Iranian citizens, who I believe are generally good citizens, will they have the strength and the will and the temerity to step up and fill that vacuum? It's a question for another show, for another day. And this is a question and a topic that could be discussed for an entire hour or more. And that is something that unfortunately I don't have the time for tonight. And speaking of time for things, there is a new section. I don't think I have played this yet. But let's see if I can do it.
Leftists are dangerously insane. Courtesy of BZ's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show and the SHR Media Network.
They are dangerously insane. We're going to be talking about, not necessarily directly about this individual, but we're going to be talking and addressing various issues revolving that individual and the domain that he allegedly governs. And that story begins with this. There are, I look everywhere for you guys, for myself as well. And a couple of things I should care to point out is if you miss an article or if you miss a video, I archive all of this stuff under show links under the Rumble version of the SHR Media Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show. So if you miss a story or if you miss a video or if you see or hear something and you think, God, and then the show passes and I don't show it again during the show, God, what was that? I wonder what that was. You can go to my Rumble channel from the SHR Media Group Rumble channel under BZ's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show and click on that specific show, this specific show, and scroll down to show links, and you will be able to see all of the links and all the stories and all the videos that I spoke about in the show tonight. And the other reason that I do all of this and I archive those links is because in my own little daft, funny, funicular world, I want to be able to archive and keep these things as a repository of just so that you remember these things occurred and I'm showing them to you now. We're discussing the articles and I keep this stuff for you to see, but also kind of, sort of, mostly, I keep it for me to remember all the crazy, insane GURP that occurred during these times. The 3 videos that you're going to see next. 1, 2, 3. Yes. I'm fairly certain that you have not seen, and they are primarily addressing the Palisades Fire and the wildfires that occurred in Southern California. And I did some research and thought that, okay, well, I will definitely be able to envelop Lahaina in 2023 into this as well. And not so much. I determined after doing some research there that a lot of the people that were locals in Lahaina and also on Maui have gotten together in a fairly tight group to be able to say, we're not selling this to outsiders. And I think that's a wonderful story. But I almost, maybe some of you have, but I almost guarantee that in terms of these two are Adam Carolla, and then there's a third that will blow your brain away when you hear this. But the first couple are Adam Carolla. Let's put him on the stage and listen to what he has to say.
So they have septic systems that are in place now that are completely unacceptable in 2025 when they rebuild. Not that they'll rebuild in 2025, 2055, when they rebuild. And they're going to have to.
So he's talking about Malibu right here. And just one issue like this will keep lots of people from rebuilding. Don't forget, that's the point. That is the point. The point of leftists in California, always spelled over the K, is predominantly individual wealthy persons should be disallowed from having such wonderful homes with such great views directly on the ocean. Continue.
Update the septic system, which means Coastal Commission, Ocean, Sierra Club, dig it all out. And because of the proximity of the ocean, they're going to have to build seawalls so that erosion won't take their septic system. So they're going to be several $1 million into stuff that's buried in the ground, a seawall, not above the ground, but a seawall that's in the ground so that the storm and the erosion can't get to it.
By the way, did I mention per property? Not everybody along that long stretch of Malibu surf. No, that's per property in Malibu that he's talking about right now. Process that.
New septic system. I mean, they may be $3, $4, $5 million into it before one piece of 2x4 is even put up in terms of framing the new house.
2x4s. Okay, hold that thought. I have another video for you coming.
Do you know how much bureaucracy, red tape, and permits worth of nightmare this is going to be? Because regardless of whatever the mayor says and whatever the governor says about expediting this stuff, a septic system is a septic system. The code is the code. The seawall's the seawall, and they're all going to have it. The telephone poles came down, and it looks like they put new ones up.
But wait, I thought this was a perfect opportunity to make things better. So if the phone poles came down, why is it that you're not burying your phone lines or your power lines like you should ideally? But no.
Which is sad, because it would have been nice if they used this opportunity to bury them. You can see up the hill, there's more devastation. Wow.
Okay, but wait, there's more. There's always more. What's a BZ axiom? One of BZ's definite axioms is, but wait, there's more. Here's Adam Carolla again.
My place in Malibu. I went to the lumber store, Malibu Lumber. I needed like a 2x4 pressure treated. So the guy goes, you know, we can't cut that in the back. We're in the Malibu, outdoors. The saw's outside. I go, okay, yeah, I don't need a cut. I got a truck, but why can't you cut it? He goes,
listen to this. California is fucking insane.
Well, it's pressure treated. It's got chemicals. California, city of Malibu, EPA. 2 weeks later, whole place burns to the ground. The whole place. Everything. Everything. Every futon, every mattress, every Range Rover, every house with pressure treated lumber, all burnt, all in the ocean. But 3 weeks earlier, we cannot endanger the porpoises by someone using a radial arm saw and cutting a piece of pressure treated lumber in half, which, by the way, in any other state, there is no law. I was doing some work.
So about this time, I hope that you're saying something similar to, why do people live in California? Why do they put up with this? And also, everyone needs to be asking themselves, cui bono, which is Latin for who benefits, who profits from all of this. That's where this video comes in. And let's have this guy ask the question and then answer it.
Just insanity over here in the LA fire zones. Squatters are overtaking vacant lots that burn down. Like this one right behind me here. This guy set up a whole campsite. And I guess actually went down to the...
See the beware sign? That person squatting on another person's property has put up a beware sign. Don't you come into my property that I'm squatting on. Now, let me give you some insight on this, if I can, because it's California, always spell it with a K. California, always spell it with a K, is fucking insane. First, these people lose everything in the fires. Now, piece of shit squatters move on to their ruined properties, the properties upon which California, always spelled with a K, is disallowing them to rebuild because of environmental laws. And then the squatters, because it's California, always spelled with a K, know full well because of California, always spelled with a K laws, cops lack the authority to remove them. Further, the squatter, and you're going to hear this guy say this, there's a squatter who's sufficiently intelligent that he went out and put the address of that ruined property, not his, on his California driver's license. Okay? And so that in and of itself will be able to tie up the true property owner in court for years. First, number one, because you're not going to be able to even get on a civil docket in the state of California. For months to years, the courts are so backed up with torts. And second, the license will allow the squatter to further validate his claim. Okay, this is how California, always spelled it with a K, this is how bureaucrats think. Remember, this is also the squatter's axiom, especially in that state. And that is, the longer the squatter stays, the easier it becomes for him to stay. And in that intervening time, if he's a smart squatter, and many of these assholes are, if he acquires further indicia like bills and flyers that were mailed there, the address filed with other agencies and entities, it becomes even more difficult for the true homeowner to fight this. And the longer and the more costly the court fight is going to be, with attorneys, hiring attorneys, court fees, etc. So listen to this guy continue.
The DMV listed this as his address on his driver's license, and the property owner can't get them off. The police even showed up, and they said, we can't do anything about it. It's got to go to the courts.
And that's because it's a civil matter. In the state, cops cannot determine who owns what in terms of property and deeds. That is a civil portion of the law, not a criminal portion of the law. And you're thinking, BZ, well, can't he prove trespass? Well, the property owner has to sign a waiver so that trespass, let's say that you have, most towns with regard to this don't have trespass laws that cover homeowners like this. And you're probably thinking, this is insane. This is insanity, clearly writ large. And how do you work with a state that is this brain dead and non-functional? And the history of this is, with regard to this form of trespass, the onus is on the homeowner to prove that that is her property. I'm not making this up. Continue.
Here's another one right behind me. This is two right across the street from each other. Squatters who have overtaken these properties, and the homeowners cannot get them off of the site. So if you're in Pacific Palisades or Altadena, I'd get some security fencing up right away, or you might lose your property to a vagrant, and the county isn't going to do anything to help you.
Let's stop right there. We're going to have to take a break, and I'll go some more into this because I've witnessed this right in front of my very eyes in Sacramento. One of the major reasons, one of the myriad of reasons that Mrs. BZ and I left California, always spelled it with a K, because it's insane, and it hates property owners, and it hates actual people. It hates actual Americans. It loves illegal invaders. It loves lawbreakers, but it sure as shit doesn't love you.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
In a world where leftists are running out of metal for the safety pins of their soothing red diapers, one man stands alone, attempting to fundamentally change America, one leftist diaper at a time. BZ, your conservative Sherpa, is guiding you through the maelstrom of Democrat leftists and globalist lies, chaos, deceit, and betrayal. Listen to BZ Saloon on select and exclusive Tuesday and Thursday nights at 8 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Central, and 11 p.m. Eastern on the SHR Media YouTube channel, Twitch, KLRN, Rumble, and X at BZ Saloon. It's one great late-night conservatarian talk radio show. Be there. Aloha.
Hello, friends. You have a moment so that we may discuss our Lord and Savior Minarchy? No, seriously, I'm just kidding. Hi, my name is Rick Robinson. I am the general manager of KLRNradio.com. We are probably the largest independent podcast network that you've never heard of. We have a little bit of everything, and by that, what I mean to tell you is we have news, pop culture, special events, conspiratainment, true crime, mental health shows, drama productions, and pretty much everything in between. So if you're looking for a new podcast home to grab a little bit of everything that you love all in one place, come check us out. You can find us on X under @KLRN You can find us on our Rumble and our YouTube channels under the same names. You can also find us at KLRNradio.com and pretty much every podcast catcher known to man. So again, feel free to come check us out anytime you like at KLRN Radio.
It's Sean from the Edge of Liberty. Just like the Bidens, I too am moving. Only in my case, it's days and times. That's right, you can now find the Edge of Liberty Monday at 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 Eastern, and Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on 11 Eastern on the SHR Media Network. Join me as we talk politics, news, alcohol, fun, not so much fun, clowns, small kittens, large kittens, dogs, amoebas, and anything else that just pops into my mind while I'm on the air. That is Monday and Wednesday, 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 on the East Coast, on YouTube, X, KLRN Radio, Facebook, Twitch, and anywhere else a good podcast is found. Please check out our website, shrmedia.com. I will see you live on the air.
Attention, all patriotic women of faith. Yep, I'm talking to you, sis. Are you looking for high-quality, super soft apparel that reflects your love for country and your devotion to God? Look no further than Carry Girl Gear. Picture this. You rocking a tee so soft it's like being hugged by a cloud, all while showing off your love for God and country. Sounds dreamy, right? Well, welcome to reality, babes, because that's what we're all about here at Carry Girl Gear. We specialize in super soft tees, tanks, and more, designed specifically for the strong, patriotic woman who proudly wants to carry their message of faith and freedom. When you shop with us, you're not just getting a t-shirt. You're joining a community of like-minded women who are proud to wear their beliefs straight on their tees. So whether you're sipping sweet tea on the porch or leading the charge for faith and freedom, do it in a Carry Girl tee. Because life's too short for stiff, boring tees. CarryGirl.com, where faith and freedom meets fashion.
Independence. With that declaration, America was born. Inspired by a belief in the God-given rights of every human being, and in the good that comes from exercising these rights well. The founders of our great nation chose independence. As do we. Hillsdale College accepts no government funding because independence makes possible the good to which we aspire.
You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
So, welcome back to BZ's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show. One and all, I appreciate it. Thanks for watching live tonight and tons of other places. I mean, literally, I find this show on all sorts of podcast host areas that I'd never heard of before. Like, has anybody heard of a Deezer? What the hell is a Deezer? I found my show on Deezer. It's like, what? It's like, really? So anyway, thanks for watching live. Thanks for participating in chat. And thanks for watching later on in podcasts. We were talking about this guy, and he was saying that not only do the people that have had their properties burned to the ground and leveled in Pacific Palisades and all the other places in Southern California that were attacked by these wildfires, but now they have to deal with squatters. And this guy is saying, well, put up a fence. And maybe, depending upon your state, you can have the cops go in, they kick people out, whatever. And you put up a fence. The first thing that happens, and I've seen this in California, always spelled with a K, any number of times with regard to homeless camps, is they don't give a shit about private property and the fence comes down. Somebody comes out with a tool, they clip it, they open it back up, and then you have to cut. It's a never-ending dealing of death process. It's as bad as Mo Green getting shot in the eye, or only worse. So what do you do?
Here is the latest insanity over here in.
So what do you do to combat this? You have to be in a state that isn't insane. And California is clearly insane. Well, let me go to some of the other stories that in the process of looking at this, I unearthed. And that's this. Now comes the California fire sale. A Chinese-based company is buying up land incinerated by firestorms. And I pointed this out 2 times before. I'll point it out again. President Donald John Trump, OMB, Orange Man Bad, the guy with the dead orange cat on his head, couldn't be more wrong in terms of allowing 600,000 Chink asshole students working for the Chinese Communist Party to come into this nation because they are nothing but spies and they don't belong here. And they're here to undermine and steal and thieve and upturn anything and everything that they can, because we allow it to happen. Now, there are some states who have recently ruled that China can no longer buy property there. If I'm recollecting properly, Montana may be one of those states. One or both of the Dakotas may be one of those states. There might be another state or two involved in that. But nothing succeeds like devastation. And then allowing, the CCP Comcheck Party to come in under the guise of, well, let's just buy everything from out from under you. We purchased the Panama Canal. We purchased properties all around military installations. We sent a slow-moving balloon to check and see how stupid you were before you decided to shoot it down. The answer was about a week. And then also, last year around November and December, there are elements within the intelligence community that said all those drones in New Jersey, etwas, around military installations too, that civilians were witnessing, came from probably a tanker that was flagged for, wait for it, China. Imagine that. So when I say, and I make this most seriously, when I make this allegation, China is not our friend. And if you think that China is our friend, then you're stupid. And there's no accounting for stupidity. Here's another story. The corporation's quietly buying up Altadena, which was another affected area from these wildfires. So this guy, Peter Umansky, says it went on a little bit of an investigative route and says, oh, look, hey, in the aftermath of the Eaton fire that destroyed 6,000 homes in LA's Altadena area, there's a whole bunch of things that I may have discovered. And people are having a hell of a time trying to rebuild, if for no other reason than, say, insurance costs, materials, regulations, fees, fines, the environment, all the things that you heard and saw Adam Carolla talk about. And the other individual that we just saw the video with regard to people that sit and squat on properties and take them because they can, because that's what the state does. So he discovered that in Altadena, one of the people, and you can read the story. This story will be in the Rumble channel, SHR Media Group, Rumble channel, BZ's Berserk, Bobcat, Saloon under show links. I'm not going to go into the top, but Black Lion Properties. Then there's another one. There's Black Lion Properties, and then there's Ocean Development, and then there's Altadena 1, and then there's Iron Rings Altadena, and Bloom Capital Investments, and Shengfei Global. That's not Chinese, is it? So never let a good critical, never let a crisis go to waste, says Rahm Emanuel. Let me also make this suggestion. You know who's also buying up a lot of that stuff? And if you dig long and hard enough, you'll discover who's behind those smaller groups. Well, I wonder if it would be BlackRock, because the two largest investment groups on the planet are BlackRock, Vanguard, and for whatever reason, the third I can't recall, because that's my job, Mang, to grasp hold of my dementia and hold it tightly against my breast. BlackRock is buying all of this stuff in order to make sure that their wallets and their shareholders and their stockholders get embiggened with this stuff. So who is always, for those who just tuned in, always ask, cui bono? Who benefits from all of this? We're going to go here.
Weapons grade stupid. The segment where anyone can play, but leftists are overqualified.
This is one of the stupidest stories I've seen in a long time. Now, people are telling me, oh, Gen Z, they're such a great generation. They're strong and they're coming back conservative. Well, they're coming back as fucking snowflakes. Here's a story. This is from Vice, who of all people should be supporting Gen Z, because Vice is the young channel for those young people. Now, here's from Vice. Gen Z has bathroom anxiety. I'm having difficulty reading the rest of this, and they're ready to quit their jobs over it. How much of a pussy do you have to be if you're a male and a bathroom would keep you from continuing your job? Workplace bathroom anxiety is somehow both universal and completely unspoken. According to a new survey, 83% of Gen Z employees have felt it, and not in a mild social discomfort kind of way, but in a way that makes them sincerely and seriously quitting their jobs. What kind of an individual would kick a job to the curb because people might see me? They might see I have a penis. They might see that I sit to pee. What's the problem? What's the issue? As the QS Supply survey found, 1 in 12 Gen Z employees has thought about walking away after a single humiliating moment in the bathroom. Another 20% said they'd rather quit than talk to a manager about a bathroom issue at all. For a generation already tiptoeing through layoffs and LinkedIn toxicity, silence can feel like the only control you have. But wait, there's more. This isn't limited to Gen Z. 76% of American workers and 75% of British workers say that they've experienced bathroom anxiety on the job across the board. Women reported it more often than men by a margin of 24%. Some employees, now the rubber is going to start to hit the road. Some employees try to time their breaks so that they don't bump into anybody. I guess other people are not supposed to know that you pee and poo, apparently. Others wait until meetings end or avoid certain restrooms depending on who might be inside. A third admit to faking a work excuse just to leave their desks undetected. It is a strategic dance around shame, one that plays out in offices everywhere. Maybe you guys can tell me. Maybe you can. Maybe it's time to go back up to comments and talk about the comments. I can't think of the third either, so don't take it too harshly. Okay, anyway, Mission Ready Men says, I got to go. Oh, hey, see what I did? See what I did there? We ain't the best, Jen. This is amazing. Yeah, it is. Where do you get this stuff? Anyway, comic artist, everybody saying goodbye to Big E and Mission Ready Men. And by the way, Mission Ready Men, Big E will be back Thursday morning at 9 a.m. Pacific and noon Eastern here on SHR Media, on the SHR Media YouTube channel. You can watch him live, and it's a great show to see. When things go wrong, most people don't speak up. Half of UK workers and 46% of Americans said they wouldn't tell their boss about a bathroom emergency no matter how serious it got. You know, that's the time when you have to ask yourself, you know, in no uncertain terms, how did we possibly get to where we are? How did we get to be an industrial giant? How did we get to be a military giant? How did we get to be the number one creator of all sorts of things when the people now can't even go into the bathroom and decide that, well, you know, I can't be in there if someone else is in there. I can't be there if, You know, the person that I hate is in there, and then, oh geez, come on, and then
Tales from the racist, sexist industrial complex, courtesy of BZ, here on the Berserk Bobcat Saloon Radio Show.
God, if I had a producer, I could have pulled that off really nice, but I don't, so I'm not going to, so I can't. Here's a Oakland mayor telling you that Oakland is safe. Go. Mayor Barbara Lee. She's just insane.
Now, you've recently marked 100 days in office, and while the changes you've made seem to have made impact,
the biggest poverty pimp on the planet, Al Sharpton.
According to data from the FBI examining each city's murder and property crime rates, Oakland still ranks among as the second most dangerous place in the country. And police retention in the city has been a big problem for Oakland. The department says they are 300 officers short of what they need on the streets. Trump sending in the National Guard for 30 days doesn't seem like it would bring long-lasting change to this situation. What would actually help, since you've already started bringing some things down?
Stop. What do you think? Put on your thinking caps. Would it be something similar to more taxes, more money, more programs? That's what I'm thinking. What are you guys thinking? Well, let's let Mayor Barbara Lee talk.
Yes, Robert. Now, those statistics aren't the correct statistics. When you look at
it's predicated on a fundamental lie.
The FBI report, Oakland, in the scheme of things, is number 17 or number 18 on its list. And so there's a lot of misinformation and disinformation about Oakland.
Right.
And again, that shit isn't funny. But this is what leftists and Democrats are getting away with. And this is what they're telling you. And what did we discover in terms of DC? Well, copdom in DC consists of a set of lying dudes and dudettes. They are skewing the stats. So I wonder if you could do BZ's logical extension, would it be something similar to, well, if it's happening in DC, and that's a leftist urban rat cage, can you not extrapolate something similar to, well, it's probably happening in all the rest of the leftist urban rat cages? And my belief would be, yeah, that's predominantly true. Let's continue. Now, last Sunday, I had a show. And because it wasn't on my normal time, every once in a while, I just get backed up with stuff. And I feel like, I got to let it out. And one of those shows was last Sunday. I was on for an hour, I think. And I talked about Democrats. And I talked about all the reasons that people think that Democrats are going to tank in 2026. And then I wrap things up by saying, don't be silly, don't be stupid, don't be fattening, don't be assumptive, don't be arrogant, and above all, don't be lazy, thinking that you won't have to proffer any work whatsoever to go out and win 2026. Well, let's start with some of these. And that is, hey, they're starting, do you see how they, Democrats, are starting to parrot some of the things that are working. And so now there is pushback. Don't think that everyone on the left is saying, oh, this is a good thing. Yeah, Trump needs to come up in Baltimore, even though Maryland's Democrat governor says, come on in. Sure. Come into Baltimore. Baltimore has places and row homes, etc., that haven't been cleaned or cleared since the 1968 riots, but pay no attention to those bricks that are crumbling. And people, those are shooting galleries where the people and the homeless and the crack-ridden and the mentally defective hide, and live in Baltimore. So they're starting to come around. They're starting to see how things are applicable with regard to that. Also this, Now, this has some actual insight for us. Democrats are winning where the party isn't looking. And you may think, oh, come on. Democrats aren't winning shit anywhere. Really? Democrats are overperforming their 2024 results by an average of nearly 16 points in state legislative rates. Now, you're racist. You're thinking, oh, House, Senate, federal, president. They're not thinking that. They're thinking everything. Okay? They're overperforming by nearly 16 points in state legislative races. And that's not a blip. That kind of stuff foreshadowed the actual blue wave in 2018. The Iowa results were part of a long list. In Pennsylvania's SD 36, Democrats defied the odds and flipped the seat Trump carried by 15 points. In Oklahoma's HD 71, Amanda Clinton won by 69 points in a district Kamala Harris carried by only 19. That's a 50-point overperformance. So sadly, we Republicans and conservatives, we're overlooking some of the things that are right in front of our faces. And the stories continued that I pointed out then, because not everybody saw the show. Democrats' chances of flipping Congress from Republican control next year. You don't want to hear this. We don't want to hear this. Democrats are building an early lead in congressional polling ahead of the 2026 midterm elections. But it's yet to be seen whether the party's momentum can be enough amid the threat of mid-decade redistricting. We're going to have to wait and see on a lot of stuff like that. In terms of Newsom and November, if Newsom wins the November ballot, which will allow him to redistrict California, then that will give him a major nudge towards 2026. And that will build something upon which Democrats can use in their favor. There's also this. A lot of this, what I said in that show on Sunday was, because of logic and common sense and insight and no emotions but facts, we are of the opinion, we conservatives and Republicans in the GOP to a degree, are of the opinion that we have facts on our side. And because we have facts on our side, that means that we're going to win. Facts and logic and stats don't have shit to do with the election. They don't. They mean nothing. It's all who gets out and who has the motivation to go out and win. I again pointed out my 1967 civics teacher in high school, Mr. Harms. Democrats don't win elections. Republicans lose them. True then, true now, and will be true forever. So, as this story here indicates, Democrats are more motivated to vote in 2026 despite a favorability slump. How many people do you know of personally, or people that you hear around you saying, oh yeah, all those people, those people who voted for Trump, that's right, and I am definitely along with Trump next year. I love all the things that he's doing. That's not being said. And certainly not in leftist urban rat cages, lurks, as I call them. So who will be motivated to get out to vote? Who will be motivated to get out to vote early? Oh, but I'm a Republican. We can't do that. That's not right. We can't vote early. If it's legal, go do it. And continuing, Democrats are funded by lots of inside individuals. This is Wired.com. This is fundamentally a leftist magazine. And so social media influencers are being paid up to $8,000 a month to push the Democrat Party line. All they have to do, as per this article, is shh, be quiet. Don't say anything about it. And agree to some forms of restrictions on their content. So it's out there. They Democrats, leftists, and the American media maggots haven't, nor will they ever stop cheating. That won't happen at all. I don't have enough time to play this. You know what? Let's go to the last break, and then I'll come back. This, in my opinion, this video that I'm about to play says it all. And this is from a guy named Scott Pressler. And again, maybe you saw the show on Sunday night. The bulk of you did not. I'm going to play this. In the meantime, take a break. My doggies had to go winkle, and I do too, so I'm going to hit the electric winkle chamber.
Conservative
Do it.
media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Listen in to the Reaver of Common Sense, where we cut through the noise of news and politics with a show equipped for bombast. Tune in Mondays and Fridays at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central, and 6 p.m. Pacific, featuring a refreshing dose of reality. Jersey Joe fearlessly tackles the tough topics with no nonsense. Just pure common sense. Visit shrmedia.com, where you can hear the Reaver of Common Sense in action. He may not always be polite. He may not always be refined. But one thing's for sure. He always tells it like it is.
Are you looking for a way to boldly express your faith and love for your country? Then check out Seven Armors, the premier apparel company for patriotic men of God, where faith meets freedom in style. Our t-shirts are more than just clothing, they're statements. Bold, stylish, and meaningful. From timeless messages to modern designs, we've got something for every patriotic man of God. Wear your beliefs proudly with Seven Armors gear. Don't miss the chance to wear your faith and freedom on your sleeve. Visit 7armors.com today and join the movement. That's the number 7armors.com. 7armors.com. Faithful, vigilant, steadfast.
Freedom. One nation in all of human history was built on that bedrock. Ours. A republic of the people, by the people, and for the people. Self-government requires freedom, just as freedom requires an individual willingness to self-govern. Freedom has made America exceptional, but it can only last as long as you and I seek the good, as expressed by the laws of nature and nature's God. It can only last if you and I choose to act as people of character. Forging character has been the pursuit of Hillsdale College since 1844.
You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Last half hour of the show, I'm BZ. Thanks to everyone for being here tonight. Thanks for watching live. Thanks for watching later on in podcast. I hear rumors to the effect that Rick Robinson from KLRN, that's Rick Robinson, that's KLRN, may be broadcasting me, not simulcasting me, but playing the replay, the refry, the shizzle from the sizzle tomorrow night of this show. And we'll wait and see how many people we get for that as well. This is also the time that everyone needs to be saying something similar to...
Folks, this is BZ's final hour. Step up. Last call for alcohol.
So drink up, Shriners, do that. And also, God, now I need to find this because the show is not yet over.
Behold the ancient, obese, conservative Sherpa in his natural element, a wondrous cornucopia of vibrant foliage festooned upon his face, various tiaras adorning that scabby pate, creating a veritable carnival of conservative cogitations and, some might posit, an overload of bulbosity, unrestrained. Please, citizens, avail yourselves of his liquid offerings as the saloon continues, unabated, like bad Bolivian gas station sushi.
And I am here. I'm here for you, folks. I'm here for you. Let me play this. It's 5 minutes. And if you've seen it before from my Sunday show, I apologize, but it most definitely demands replaying, because we cannot continue on this road thinking that no matter what happens, we're going to march, we're going to cross that Rubicon, we're going to march into 2026, and we're going to win everything. Now, this is from a guy named Scott Pressler. And Scott Pressler happens to be gay. I don't give a shit. But he's the guy that essentially single-handedly went out and got the state of Pennsylvania handed to Donald John Trump, OMB, Orange Man Bad, the guy with the dead orange cat on his head, for 2024. He won, essentially single-handed, the entire state of Pennsylvania for Trump, because he got his ass out and hustled every damn day. So if there's somebody that ought to know just a wee bit about what's going on, I'd say it's probably this guy.
Hey everybody, this is Scott Pressler. I'm not here to bring you a happy video. I'm here to give you a dose of reality. It's August 29th. I want you to bookmark this. You timestamp this right now. It's after 2 a.m. and I'm out walking my 6 miles as I do every single day. And I'm here to tell you, Republicans are going to lose everything this November.
Why?
Unless we change things, and quickly. You're going to lose the governorship in Virginia, and you're going to have a Democrat. You're going to lose the governorship in New Jersey, and you're going to have Mikey Sherrill.
Oh, I forgot about governorships.
And in Pennsylvania, where we have been working tirelessly, nonstop, even since the election, we're on the verge of having 3 Democrat Supreme Court justices retained until 2035. Republicans, I hate to say it, and I love you, but I'm going to be honest. You are absolutely clueless. And it's not just the leadership at the top, but I have to say to our voters, if you are only planning to vote on Election Day on Tuesday, November 4th, consider the election's gone. Over. Game over. You've already lost.
Let me tell you one thing that I did. And a lot of people, I took some heat for this. And I'll say it again, because I predominantly don't give a shit what you think about me in terms of this. Idaho. This is where I live. North Idaho. It's no great shakes. It's no surprise. It's not a secret. I've clustered to my little Galactus-ridden chest. No. Idaho allows you to vote early. So what did I do? Me and Mrs. BZ went out and voted early. If the option is offered to us, we sure as shit did, and we will continue to do so.
If you do not engage in early voting, whether in person or in Pennsylvania, the convoluted in-person on-demand mail-in voting, and if you don't request a mail-in ballot, you are going to lose everything. And I'm making this video, number one,
if for no other reason, then you must realize that all the cheating that's gone on previously, heretofore, all the people that have been cheating have certainly been held to task for that. They have been held responsible. There are consequences that were slammed down upon them. Weren't there? No, there weren't. No, there weren't. All they give a shit about is winning. And for those of you who just tuned in, winning.
We still have 66 days to change things. And we still have 2 months to make things right. But at the same time, I'm also making this as a Scott was right video, that if and when Republicans do not embrace early voting and mail-in voting, and we lose everything, I want to be able to point to this video and say, well, I tried to tell you.
Oh, but we can't do that. We're Republicans. We're better than they are. I'll use this. I have a problem with that. It makes me cry to think that I might have to mail in a ballot. It makes me cry to think I might have to vote early, because that's not what we've historically done. Ideally, I'd like to see that, but that shit isn't realistic. No mo.
I tried to warn you. I tried to put a lantern out and Paul Revere the upcoming elections. And let's see who listens. In 2022, the machines went down on Election Day in Arizona, and we have Katie Hobbs. Wonderful. In Nevada, we lost an election by 8,000 votes because it snowed on Election Day. And in Luzerne County, Pennsylvania, we have John Fetterman today, in part because they ran out of paper on Election Day. And if Republicans...
And John Fetterman? as kind of whacknut as he is, he's one of the few Democrats supporting logic. Figure that out.
Not learn from history, we are undoubtedly going to repeat the same mistakes and then wonder why. And I have to say, there has been a contingency of people attacking me for trying to do everything in my power to get Republicans elected into office. And none of these people have talked about Winsome Sears for governor in Virginia. None of these people have talked about Jack Ciattarelli for New Jersey governor.
We are frequently, the GOP, not my we. I'm conservative. I'm not a Republican. We are frequently our own worst enemies, with all the rhinos and the underminers and the detractors in the party who, if they were to be honest, should change their R's to a D and just fucking be done with it.
And none of these people have talked about voting no to retention to Democrats Doherty, Donahue, and Wett. And it makes me wonder, these people that are attacking me, while I'm a gentleman that started an organization with 25
Well, also think Collins, Murkowski.
Full-time staff on the ground in Pennsylvania. I have 14 full-time staff on the ground in New Jersey. And even meanwhile, being on the ground, going from the York State Fair to register voters, to the Crawford County Fair to register voters, to the Center County Fair to register voters, to the GDS Fair to register voters. And I'm going to Luzerne County Fair as well. And even having
this guy was a one-man Pennsylvania band to try to get the entire state for Trump. And he did it.
Ability and the diligence and the dedication and determination to lose 45 pounds while doing everything else that I do. It really makes me wonder, A, what are these people doing? And B, why aren't they doing everything in their power to elect Republicans into office instead of attacking our own with friendly fire? Take that as you will, but you hear me loudly, you hear me clearly, and you hear me once for all. Republicans, if you do not embrace early voting and mail-in voting for the upcoming Tuesday, November 4th, 2025 election, you will lose everything.
And this is a guy who should know. But, oh, he's not right. That's not true. That isn't what he's been saying. That's exactly what he's been saying. And everyone listening now, right now, knows that it's true. We conservatives, and I'm not even specifically mentioning the GOP because I don't send them any more money. I haven't sent them money for 20 years. Since they began to undermine me, and I was smart enough to realize it, I target my money to specific individuals. But we know he's right. We know who the rhinos are. We know that, no president is perfect. And I will support Trump when I can. I will support conservatives when I can. I sure as hell do not support Trump in terms of all the Comchink students that he wants to bring over here, 600,000 of them. What the fuck are you thinking, you idiot? I will be a conservative through and through until the day that I die. And this can't go on. Well, we're the better people. Well, to be honest, that's nice. I'm happy for you if that's your stance. We're going to hold out for being the better people. And then you'll fucking lose. And you will continue to lose. It's a game. It's all a big damn game. And unless you play the game actively, you're going to continue to lose. It's all about the votes. Get out to vote. Get out to vote. Don't be complacent. Don't be smarmy and, oh, well, I'm better than I don't need to get out. You got to get out. You got to vote. Vote early. People used to laugh, vote early and vote often. Yeah, vote early. The vote often thing, not recommended. But you have to be able to play the game. And if you're not interested in playing the game, because it's all a game, a deadly game of people dying. And if you want to continue to see people dying because of drugs and mental illness and fentanyl and the open border, that is Biden who brought us here today because of this. Hundreds and thousands of Americans dead because of the previous administration. And I'm not a big fan of Republicans, as many people already know, with regard to this. I'm going to see if I can find, I'm going to do one more thing and see if I can find the appropriate video. The one that I definitely want you to see. Now, remember, we talked about the tranny shooter who's insane. There isn't any SHR media show that hasn't talked about the tranny shooter. I've talked about it. Sean's talked about it. Earl has certainly talked about it. Tons and tons of other conservative podcasters, KLRN, everybody almost, if it's a political oriented show on KLRN, has certainly brought this up. But one of the things that I have not seen, because it's long, and that's why I have a long format show, if for no other reason than to archive this, because sooner or later, the video that I'm about to play will be gone. Someone somewhere will decide on some social media that we can't have this anymore. So if I play it now, you can't erase me. You can erase the social media, but you can't erase me. So I'm going to play it. And you've heard about the video, but how many people have seen the video that was made of the tranny mass murderer who said, in truth, I'm a tranny mass murderer. I hate everybody. Oh, gee, I think I'm a little sad that I'm a tranny. I might have some regrets about that, but I'll go out and kill some kids anyway. Kids in church. So, what the hell? That's a smart guy. Now, but see, leftists, it's about the guns. It's about the guns. It's not about the individual. And I say this and will continue to say it. You know, when I was a kid in high school, we had pickup trucks with rifle racks in the back. When I was a kid in high school, we had shooting clubs. And kids would go out, shoot, compete. Their pickup trucks, their cars were in the lot. It was nothing for that to occur. And, you know, we laid, because of that, why didn't we learn? We laid thousands and thousands of dead bodies down all around the streets in the 50s and 60s because we embraced guns. Hundreds of thousands of poor school children were slaughtered in the 50s and 60s because we embraced guns. None of that shit is true. The gun is a tool. The car is a tool. Did the tool change or did society change? And the obvious answer is it's just a tool. It's just something that you wield. So shootings going up, well, that's our abhorrent culture, which is a result of that, which has to do with the shootings. It's not the tool. It's the modified genetic mutant behind it. And we're fetting them. We're encouraging them. You know, one thing, if I can, let me see if I can find this. Even the British are starting to come around. We're not, but the British are. Trans people in England are more likely to have long-term poor mental health, says a study. And then this. The National Health Service in England decided already last year that they were going to stop prescribing puberty blockers to children. They decided that they were going to halt the chemical, mental, and physical butchery of children. It's no more than that. It is butchery of children, even the English, as daft and stupid as they are, have decided, no bueno, we're not going to do this crap anymore. We're not going to have anything to do with that. So let me see if I can bring this back. This will take up the rest of the show. It'll probably play a little bit over the top of the hour, but that's okay. I am going out with this video, and I want everyone to see it. I'm going to keep it. It's going to be here. I'm going to archive it. It will be in my show notes for Rumble so that you can play it, because I'm fairly certain one day this video is going to be gone. This is another violent leftist tranny shooter, complete with a hatred of Israel, and a magazine that says kill Donald Trump and any number of other things. And he had a video manifesto. This is the video manifesto. This is the Minneapolis school shooter. And he posted this before the attack. This is his doing.
Here's my note to my family and shit. Wow, some English writing. Wow. Hope you can read that. Yeah. Peace, love, unity, and guns. Baka, my brata. Baka. Nine millimeter. Get fucked. This message brought to you by BlackRock and ExxonMobil. Sponsored by Pabst Blue Ribbon, Brandon Herrera for president. Yeah, I met Brandon Herrera at SHOT Show last year. He and I had a brief conversation, but we agreed on a lot of things. So y'all should vote for Brandon Herrera for president. And Vintage Warfare promotes love and peace and accepting differences. Tomorrow, I'm sorry to my family. But that's it. That's the only people I'm sorry to. Fuck those kids. Skibbity. Skibbity. Shit. I regret everything. I didn't ask for life. You didn't ask for death. I'll make my own fucking stars. And yeah, watch my 9mm go bang. I'm the woker, baby. Why so curious? Where's your fucking god now? Shit. Skibbity Riz. Scum gang. The big boy. Fucking rip and tear. That's the big one. Don't forget to live, laugh, and love. And this one's for me, in case I need it. Right up in the fucking mouth. Some smoke, extra thick. Eat shit, motherfucker. Koszmar. Pain and hate. Pain and hate. Freedom. Time to play. Bobcat. Koszmar. Kiss me. I fucking hope I do. Fuck. Got that bitch loaded. My precious. Thank God for private. Vivimos en el sociedad. Help me, I don't want to be here. Well, you're here. Fuck you. Fuck you. Oh, another one. Oh, well. Where should get motherfucking Breivik engine? Yeah, fuck optics. Fuck Nigel. That dude raped someone. Yeah, man. Yeah. Got my new headphones so I can hear them scream. Nice, nice. Oh my god, good shit. Here's my belt. Yeah. Stupid, worthless, useless bitch. That's fucking good shit, man. Hey. Plug. Oh yeah, check. I got my shirt. Gazoo. Better than the best. I got my Minnesota patch. In the fucking FSB. Maybe I look like a cop and I won't get rushed or something. I don't know. But shit, let's fucking do this before anxiety kicks in. Yo. Oh, ho, 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 ho. Oh, oh yeah, check this out. Got more Jew gas taped on this end. This will be for the emergency exit. Pop it through the hand. Oh, there's Garfield. This is all too fucking real. Nigga. Yeah. Tomorrow. I love you. Hate you. It's the end of the world as we know it, and I feel really good.
Sure. Process that. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, thanks for watching and listening to BZ's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show, live and direct right here on Rumble. As I am usually wont to say, promotional consideration is by the Lockheed Martin Skunk Works, also by Shure and Electro Voice microphones, by the people that manufacture my mixer, Arrakis, and by Pratt & Whitney engines featuring thrust. You can trust. Tiaras tonight are also continuing by My Little Pony. This is red, not pink.
Tell them I won't be long.
Look, it's the show logo. Imagine that. Thanks to everyone for being here. Thanks to my KC-135 Kettle 1 refueling team with whom I shall be consorting in a wee bit of time at the conclusion of the show. You know me. I'm just like a Marvel movie. Does it end? Does it end? See you Thursday night, everybody. God bless. Take care. Be safe. Does it end?
Everybody quiet down now and get some sleep.
Night, everybody.
Night, Mama. Night, Ben. Good night, everyone.
Good night, Mama. Good night, Daddy.
Good night, children. Good night, Daddy. Good night, Elizabeth.
Good night, John Boy. Good night, Jim Bob. Good night, Jim Bob.
Good night, Jim Bob.
What's going on? I was asleep. What's everybody doing?
Good night,
Good night, Jim Bob.
Good night, and good luck.
Take care, all. When you want a sandwich, ham or cheese? Ham or cheese?